What do you do when your home becomes a battlefield? My name's Clara, and I've lived on this sprawling Montana ranch my whole life. It's 200 acres of rolling hills, dotted with cattle and memories of my grandfather teaching me to ride. This land is my blood, my legacy. But to Karen and her developer cronies, it was just a plot to flip for profit. They wanted my ranch for a luxury resort, and they weren't asking nicely. It started with whispers at the town hall. Karen, the head of the local HOA, had big plans. She'd moved to our quiet town 2 years ago, all smiles and promises of progress. Soon, her allies' greedy suits with dollar signs in their eyes started circling. They offered me a buyout, lowballing so hard it was an insult. I said no. That's when the trouble began. My water lines were mysteriously cut. Fences broken, cattle spooked. Local suppliers stopped delivering hay, claiming they were out of stock. Karen's doing, no doubt. She charmed or bullied half the town into shunning me, starving me out. My savings dwindled, and the ranch teetered on collapse. Then came the letters anonymous, of course. Sell or suffer. They read, stuffed in my mailbox or taped to my barn. One night, I found my dog, Rusty, limping, a nail driven into his paw. I held him, tears streaming, as rage burned through me. Karen thought she could break me. She didn't know who she was messing with. Enter Jake, a drifter who showed up looking for work. He was rough around the edges, with a scar across his cheek and a story he wouldn't tell. I hired him, desperate for help. Jake noticed things tire tracks near the cut water lines. A shady guy watching the ranch from a pickup. He didn't just fix fences, he started asking questions. Turned out he was ex-military, dishonorably discharged for reasons he kept vague. But he had a knack for strategy and a grudge against bullies like Karen. You don't fight fair, you fight smart, he said one night over coffee, his eyes glinting with an idea. The developers upped the ante. They pushed the county to rezone my land, claiming it was underutilized. Karen led the charge, rallying locals with lies about how my ranch was an eyesore dragging down property values. At the hearing, she stood there in her pristine blazer, smirking as she painted me as a stubborn old fool. I was losing ground, and the bank was breathing down my neck. Then Jake dropped a bombshell. He'd overheard Karen's lawyer bragging at a bar about bribing a county official. A twist I hadn't seen coming. Corruption, plain as day. That's when I decided to fight fire with fire. If they wanted my land, they'd get more than they bargained for. I cashed out my last savings and turned half the ranch into a gun range, right by the borderline of Karen's precious gated community. I called it Borderline Blasts. Jake helped me set it up: targets, sandbags, a neon sign that glowed at night. The first shot rang out at dawn, echoing across the valley. Karen's face when she heard it? Priceless. The range drew crowds: hunters, veterans, even curious locals. Business boomed, and so did the noise. Karen's resort dreams crumbled as her wealthy buyers fled, whining about gunfire disturbing their peace. She stormed over, screaming about lawsuits, but I had permits, and the range was legal. The town started talking. Jake leaked the bribery story to a local blogger, and soon, Karen's name was mud. The county official resigned, and her developer friends cut ties, leaving her exposed. But the real justice came at the town fair. Karen, desperate to save face, set up a booth to push her community vision. I rolled up with Jake, handing out flyers for Borderline Blasts. The crowd swarmed us, not her. Then, in a moment of sweet karma, a kitsome teenager who'd been at the range recognized Karen from a viral video. He'd recorded her yelling at me months ago, calling me trash. He posted it, and the internet did the rest. Karen's reputation tanked. Her HOA power fizzled, and she left town, tail between her legs. My ranch is still mine. The gun range funds it now, and Jake's sticking around, teaching new shooters. I won, but it cost me scars, sleepless nights, and trust in people. Was it worth it? I think so. What about you? When someone tries to take what's yours, do you fold or fight? Share your thoughts below. Let's talk about what's right and what's wrong.